Channel 96 News. I am your host, Laura Velasco. Today is Friday, December 17th. Only 8 days until Christmas and 15 days until the new year, 2022. First, we will start with James, our international newscaster. He will inform you about the facts of the U.S. retreating from Afghanistan and how the country is dealing with the new government, the Taliban.
War with Afghanistan. How are they doing now? Staying longer was not an option, stated by President Biden a day after the end of a 20-year U.S. presence in Afghanistan. U.S. troops went into Taliban-controlled Afghanistan in 2001 in the wake of the devastating 9/11 attacks blamed on Al-Qaeda, a group based in the Asian country. The Taliban was founded in 1988 by Osama bin Laden. Already one of the poorest countries in the world, Afghans and their economy will now have to deal with the consequences from the fall of Kabul, their capital. The country is now on the brink of humanitarian catastrophe, with nearly 23 million people facing food insecurities. Right now, Afghanistan is in a level 4 do not travel zone due to civil unrest, armed conflict, crime, terrorism, kidnapping, and COVID-19. Therefore, traveling to all areas of Afghanistan is unsafe. The Department of State assesses the risk of kidnapping or violence against U.S. citizens in Afghanistan is high. Poverty and malnutrition are increasing at an unprecedented speed in Afghanistan. More people will die of hunger in 2022 alone than from the violence in the last 20 years of conflict. Roughly 75% of Afghanistan government expenditures, including healthcare, were previously directly funded by international aid. The abrupt cutoff left hundreds of thousands of public sector employees out of pay. This is James Prokopek reporting for Channel 96 News. Over and out.
The Shelby Huskies boys and girls basketball and wrestling team have started their season last month. The athletes are excited to perform and to represent their school. Josie will elaborate on the performance.
Good afternoon, Josie here with your Channel 96 Shelby Rising City Sports Report. To get us started, last Friday, December 3rd, both boys and girls basketball fought a very challenging game against Kosh County, but it was not enough to bring home the win. We are still very proud of you boys and girls. Following with District 1 Act on Saturday, the 4th, we brought home 5th place. Starting Monday, December 6th, FFA had their district LDE competition. Congrats to all of the contestants that brought home ribbons and represented our school. The boys and girls basketball was back at it again, playing Giltner on Friday and playing Sandy Creek on Saturday. Both boys and girls won against Giltner but lost to Sandy Creek. Yesterday, the girls basketball played against Heartland and they won. Before leaving for Christmas break on the 17th, make sure you go and support the basketball teams as they play against McCool Junction. Let's change topics and look at how our wrestlers are doing this season. Wrestling has been on a roll lately, wrestling back-to-back at High Plains on December 2nd and Lakeview on the 3rd. Big congratulations to Grady Belt for getting his 100th win, also congratulating Colin and Grady for being Wrestlers of the Week last week. The Huskies have wrestled at North Bend, Lakeview, High Plains, and will take the mat again today at Platteview. Thank you. This is Channel 96.
A new COVID variant has taken over the world. It is called the Delta variant. While the new variant is in the air, President Biden signed the $1 trillion bipartisan bill. Gavin will inform you about that.
For the biggest national news story of the year, we will start with the Delta variant that arose later this year. The Delta variant is 2 times more contagious than the previous variant, and it first surfaced in South Africa. This strain can cause more serious illnesses than the previous variants, experts say. The CDC recommends everyone 12 years and older get vaccinated and wear masks. While you can't be vaccinated, you still have a slight chance of catching the variant. There are some risks with the vaccine as well, as the side effects of the vaccine include myocarditis, which is swelling of the heart, and blood clots. Much is still unknown about the variant, and researchers are still trying to find out more about it. For the other major national news story, we have the $1.9 trillion infrastructure bill that was passed. The House passed a $1.9 trillion bill for budget reconciliation and infrastructure. This would send nearly $570 billion into climate change measures and infrastructure. This would also increase the deficit of debt by around $367 billion in the next 10 years. The bill also touches on enhancing child tax credit, home health care, infrastructure, and Pell Grants. The plan to try to help offset the costs is to tax the rich more. And this is also supposed to help kickstart jobs and economic growth. One of the major portions of the bill is climate change. This includes $100 billion to the update of the power grid, $174 billion for the electric cars through tax credits, and $35 billion for government research in climate change. This is Gavin Dutton-Mofford reporting with Channel 96 News.
In the middle of the year, deadly and a destructive hurricane Category 4 Atlantic hurricane hit U.S. state Louisiana. Our weather forecaster, Ari, will inform you about that.
Hurricane Ida, a deadly and destructive Category 4 Atlantic hurricane, became the second most damaging and intense hurricane to make landfall in the U.S. state of Louisiana on record. It lies right behind Hurricane Katrina in 2005. It lasted from August 26, 2021 to September 4, 2021. Ida first formed as a tropical depression in the Caribbean Sea and increased to a hurricane the next day before making landfall over Cuba. The storm then strengthened to a Category 4 and it moved towards the Louisiana coast. Its highest wind speed was 149 miles per hour. It left hundreds of business buildings and homes in ruins. The damage it caused cost about $65.25 billion. In the process of destroying Louisiana, it injured and killed multiple people, the total adding to 115 fatalities. At least 85 of those people were killed in the storm, in a span of 8 different states. According to popular beliefs, Ida's extended extreme rainfall was most likely caused by Ida's tropical moisture interacting with developing warm and cold fronts. Evidence shows as the climate warms, the amount of precipitation from heavy rainstorms is increasing, especially in the central and eastern U.S. Stay safe out there, folks. This is Arelis Arteaga reporting from Channel 96 News.
Our investigative report, Gabriel, will inform you about the new variant, Omicron, in the United States.
In this week's investigation report, we will be talking about the newly discovered COVID variant called Omicron. Omicron was discovered in South Africa. No one really knows, including scientists and doctors, how bad or serious this new variant of COVID is going to be or how it will affect the world and your everyday life. This is Gabriel Dutton-Mofford reporting from Channel 96.
Our last story by Alexis is about the generous donation the Shelby Senior Center raised for the Shelby Fire and Emergency Medical Services Department.
In this week's local news report, we will be discussing the huge impact of the Shelby community. In January of this year, the Shelby Senior Center wanted to raise support for the Shelby Fire and EMS department. They began fundraising in February, and they set a goal to raise $5,000. With all of the help of the Shelby community, they presented the Shelby Fire Department with a check on June 28th for $14,593. After receiving this donation, the fire department wanted to use the money to purchase a new defibrillator. This is Lexi from Channel 96 News, and this wraps up the local news report.
Thank you for tuning into Channel 96 News. Have a fantastic holiday break.